Hey, it's Carl Fischer, Canadian Golf Teachers Federation Certified Professional. Today's video is going to be focused on aim, posture, and ball position. Three of the four most crucial fundamentals in the game of golf. I covered grip in a previous video using a grip training aid, which I recommended. Please follow along. If you want to hit subscribe down below, click on subscribe to follow me along at Carl Fischer Golf channel on YouTube. Give me a thumbs up and any comments would be appreciated. So today's lesson is focusing on aim, posture, and ball position, and working on these aspects of fundamentals of the game inside the comfort of your own home. It is March 17th in Toronto. It's still very cold and wintry out, and it's time to work on your golf game so you're ready for the beginning of the golf season, which hopefully is coming up in about a month's time. So I'm going to focus on helping you work on the aspects of your game that are most important inside the comfort of your own home without having to spend money going to a driving range, okay? That's the focus and key of my videos, working on those aspects of the game which are most important, which you can work on all year round inside the warmth and comfort of your own home, okay? So let's get right to it. Aim, posture, and ball position. On the ground, in front, you can see on the ground here, I have set up some clubs. Two clubs facing this way and two clubs perpendicular to those facing this direction. This is my workstation for working on the fundamentals of the game. Again, we're working on aim, posture, and ball position today. Let me get this out of the way. I'll edit that out later. Right now I have a pitching wedge in my hand, and to set up for a pitching wedge, let me just say that what I'm going to give you today are guidelines to the fundamentals. There's no one set way to set up aim for aim, posture, and ball position. There's no one set way. There's a range within which you can find yourself to allow you to play the best golf for you, but you're going to find some little variance based on your particular body, shape, size, your experience, your comfort level. All these factors within the range I'm going to give you, you'll find somewhere that works for you, okay? So just to get used to a basic fundamental alignment, posture, and ball position, there's a rule of thumb. So for a pitching wedge, a shorter club, my aim is going to be always determined by my target line, the target of my ball. Where do I intend the target to go? So I'm going to set up parallel to my target line as if I'm standing on one side of a railroad track. This is one side, there's the other side where the ball is on, and I'm going to set up so I'm completely parallel to that line with my shoulders, hips, knees, and feet, completely parallel. This is just a standard setup position. It may vary, or it will vary depending upon the conditions you're playing under and the types of shots you're trying to play. But if we can learn one basic setup position and know what that position is, know that we're parallel, then we can easily alter ourselves when we're playing the game of golf, because we know what that parallel position is from the get-go, okay? So I'm aimed up parallel. We've got that covered. Posture in a golf for a golf swing. Again, there's a range of postures which are useful in a golf swing. You don't want to stand up too straight and stiff. You can't swing a golf club like this. It's impossible. That makes common sense. And you don't want to be hunched over like this, bent over all the way like this. You can't swing a golf club that way either. So we're going to be somewhere in the middle of straight up and hunched over. And how we do that is we start from a standing position. We can place our hands on our hips. We can tilt forward from the hips, and then we can just slightly flex our knees. okay? Slightly flex the knees, tilt over. Arms are hanging straight down naturally. Right now, I am relaxed. My whole body is relaxed. I see a lot of golfers, most of my students are very tense when they're setting up to a ball. They don't realize it, but all their muscles are tense, full of tension. Tension kills a golf swing. Let's work on being relaxed. We can always ratchet up the tension level just enough to be able to swing the club, but let's start off as loose as possible, okay? So I'm relaxed, arms hanging straight down from the sockets, slight tilt from my hips, slight flex in my knees, arms hanging straight down. Ball position for a pitching wedge. Standard setup would be right between my heels, right in the dead center heels, okay? Again, it will vary from individual to individual in the type of shot, but this is your basic setup position. Parallel target line, slight tilt from the hips, slight flex in the knees, arms hanging straight down, got a nice grip, ball position in the middle of my stance. And I'm relaxed. That's it. You just work on that 5-10 minutes a day. Very easy. It helps to have a mirror to the side and one in front of you. I can see myself in the camera, so I can see that I'm set up correctly. But if you have a mirror behind you or in front of you, it makes it that much easier to set up correctly and work on the proper setup position so you do it the same time every time. Switching to a 5-iron, a little bit longer club. With a 5-iron, my posture's going to be similar. Slight tilt from the hips, arms hanging straight down. Now, when we get to longer clubs, we go from the short clubs to the longer clubs. This is an in-between club. It's a 5-iron. So in between the wedges and the driver is a 5-iron. So my arms may not be hanging straight down here because it's a little bit longer club. My hands might be just slightly further away from my thighs. Not way out here. This is too extreme. So the guideline would be not out here and not up in here, but somewhere between those two would be a nice comfortable position for most people. So here we are. I'm still relaxed. The golf ball is situated just slightly ahead of the midpoint between my heels. I'll do a face on like this, and I'll show you with a 5-iron, the ball would be somewhere just ahead of the midpoint. Again, there's leeway on either side. It could be a little bit behind, a little bit ahead, but somewhere a little bit ahead of midpoint would be a good starting position. Here I am, I'm relaxed, club is down, I have a good grip. Here's a great setup position. When it comes to the weight distribution, a lot of people ask me about weight distribution and how wide should their stance be. I see people come up with their stances this wide. I see very few people, the error usually is someone standing way too wide. I see very few people take stances with their feet together, which is not recommended because we're making a dynamic body movement and we're not going to be able to achieve very much speed if we don't have a good foundation. So, again, within a certain range, this is way too wide. I can't rotate my hips, I can't move dynamically if my feet are this wide apart. So I'm going to bring them in to a comfortable position, somewhere around shoulder width or just inside shoulder width. This is too close together, too far apart, somewhere in the middle, and the weight is distributed 50% on my right, 50% on my left, and the weight, not on my toes, not on my heels, in the center portion of my feet, equally distributed. That's a good setup position. The final club I'll show you is with the driver. Let's go all the way to the longest club in the bag, the one everyone loves to hit, and I do too. So, as setup position for a driver, let's have that ball. First of all, we're going to have the widest stance of any club in the bag because it's the longest club, which means we're going to have the longest swing, which means we need a little bit bigger base to be able to accommodate that larger swing and a more transition and weight shift from back to front, okay? This is too wide, just about outside shoulder width. It can vary a little bit, so don't be afraid to experiment. This is too narrow, too wide. Somewhere in here, shoulder width. Posture is pretty much the same. Slight tilt from my hip, slight flex in the knees. With a driver, this is the club that's going to be the furthest away. Your hand's going to be the furthest away from your thigh with a driver in your hand, because again, it's the longest club. It's the biggest arc you're going to make is with a driver, biggest swing. So you'll see every professional who sets up for a driver is usually going to be about a hand width away or thereabouts from their thigh. Hand width being the thumb to pinky, that far away. It can vary, but this is reaching too far, this is in too close. I'm going to pick a happy medium, okay? Comfortable, weight 50-50 over the balls of my center of my feet, the balls of my feet. Relaxed, slight flex in the knees, tilt from the hips, arms hanging again, slightly further away from my thigh because longer club. Face on view for ball position. With the driver, rule of thumb is the ball position would be generally anywhere from an inch or two to the right of your lead foot in here, all the way, it could be all the way up to the midpoint, or maybe sometimes even closer to the toe, depending on the type of shot, type of driver swing, wind conditions, etc. Anywhere in that range is perfectly acceptable. Any width that's not way out here and not in here is perfectly acceptable as well. So I'm relaxed. Okay, ball position I got here. I have a great grip. My arms are hanging slightly away from my body. Club, I'm parallel to my target line in my setup. There's the perfect posture, or a great posture for a driver. Hope you learned something today. Thank you for watching. carlfischergolf.com. If you're looking for lessons, you can text me, call me, or email me. I'm available currently indoor lessons at Markham Golf Dome and Tees Indoor Golf in Mississauga. Thanks for watching. I'm out of breath. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you soon.